UFC 319 just wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card, starting with the first fight of the night all the way to the main event. We're going to go through the picks, the parlays, recap the entire night, man. It was an absolute domination from Khamzat Chimaev. Like, oh, man, it was terrible for Dricus. It was absolutely terrible. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get this video underway. Starting the night off, we had Idris taking on Joseph Morales. Big upset. Joseph Morales, I believe he closed around like a plus 375 underdog. First round from him, he was flowing on the mat, pretty cleanly. Idris looked a little uncomfortable, throwing a lot of spinning attacks. Really didn't, threaten Morales on the feet too much. Morales looked to be more composed, more, secure within himself. The boxing range was there for him. He was able to, mitigate distance pretty well against Idris. And like I said, took him down and controlled him for a majority of that very first round, threatened him with some submission attempts. I believe he threw up a triangle, a arm bar attempt, Kimura, things of that nature. Definitely controlled Idris in that very first round. Second round, Morales is back on the pressure, ripping some big body shots that definitely hurt Idris, had him up against the cage, looked very uncomfortable, takes him down, and he ends up setting up the triangle and, locked it up and wins the Ultimate Fighter flyweight finale. Very impressive victory for Joseph Morales to not only win, the Ultimate Fighter, but to get back into the UFC against a talented striker in Idris, who, many people thought, as you can see the odds, minus 550, thought, he was going to come out here and do some pretty bad things to Joseph Morales, but that was not the case. Morales making his second stint in the UFC, and he did it in pretty spectacular fashion and controlled Idris without, much coming back towards him. I don't think Morales was in trouble throughout the entire fight. And, shout outs to him starting the night off with a huge underdog victory. Yeah, big ups to Joseph Morales winning the Ultimate Fighter and getting back in the UFC for his second attempt. Next fight, we had K.Silva taking on Barbosa, which was the robbery of the night, man. I'm very distraught on this because I picked Barbosa as an underdog on short notice, and I feel as though she won this fight clearly. Round 3 was the only round that I gave K.Silva clear. Round 1 by Barbosa, she was pretty clean on the feet, was, dictated the pace of the entire fight, was striking pretty clean, landed some good shots to K. Made Cannonier look very uncomfortable. They, Cannonier shot for a takedown. Dione reversed her, landed on top, threatened a rear naked choke, had Cannonier very hesitant and uncomfortable on the feet. Round 1, clear Dione Barbosa. Round 2, Cannonier gets a takedown momentarily, but then, Dione reverses position again. Cage control, had landed some good knees. Dione reverses another takedown. It was late, secures top control. Dione threatens, or no, not Dione. Cannonier was from bottom threatening it was like a triangle dead orchard is what Joe Rogan called the submission. I'm not too familiar with, jiu-jitsu and things of that nature. But, she landed some small peppering shots late in that round, but Barbosa was controlling, that second round up until she got caught in that weird submission. But it was only about 45 seconds where she was in that. So I don't really, warrant that almost submission attempt from K.Silva to win her the round. Dione Barbosa was controlling that round and, was winning that round up until that moment. So I had it 2-0 going into the third for Dione Barbosa. Round 3, Cannonier was under pressure. I'm pretty sure her corner told her, hey, you're down. You need to come out, land something clean, make this your fight at, what K.Silva is usually, how she usually looks. She came out under pressure, striking, was looking pretty good, back control, attempted a gogoplata. She almost got the ghillie on Dione, but Dione was able to scramble to get the top position. And maybe she didn't win the round back, but she definitely, put herself in a favorable position in the eyes of the judges. But I'll give that third round to K.Silva. We get to the scorecards, though. This is the big problem with it. Unanimous decision to K.Silva? Carini didn't even believe she won. Joe Rogan didn't believe she won. Nobody in the crowd believed Carini Silva won. This was a blatant robbery, and Dione Barbosa definitely deserves the win, her win money, and, you know, another ranking opportunity because she came in short notice and made Carini Silva look, you know, human, just like Viviane Araujo did. She made it look easier than Viviane with a full camp. I'm very, you know, upset in this decision, man. Dione Barbosa showed up, did her thing. Yeah, she lost the third round, but she looked pretty good, man. She was clean on the feet. She was, you know, able to mitigate damage on the ground, was reversing the wrestling or the takedown attempts from Carini Silva, was in top, you know, control for a majority of the fight. 5 minutes of control time compared to 2 minutes for Carini Silva. You know what I'm saying, man? This was a bad decision, terrible decision. The striking numbers are only like that because Carini had success late in the fight, whereas Dione, you know, was doing majority of her work early. This is a terrible decision, man. Oh, unanimous decision, like a split. Okay, I wouldn't be as mad, but unanimous is crazy, bro. 29-28. I can't get with it, bro. Carini Silva, I don't think she's gonna be fighting a ranked opponent next. I don't think this fight does much for her, honestly, because she lost. She arguably lost. So if I were to matchmake for them, Carini is probably gonna fight. I don't know. It could get murky. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who is maybe not a Jamie Lynn Horth. Somebody who's like steaming. I mean, it was Dione. Dione won this fight, bro. Maybe a Eduardo Mora fight. Maybe a Gabby Fernandez fight. Because Carini looked human, bro. Dione, I think she's gonna get another opportunity. I could see them doing maybe Dione, Kong Wang. I believe Kong Wang is. I don't think she's ninth. She might be like 12th or something like that. Yeah, I could see like a Kong Wang Dione Barbosa fight, and you know, Dione would definitely be live in that fight. Kong Wang is probably a little more, you know, powerful as far as the striking goes, but if she could get her down, we've seen her, you know, dropped and submitted before. So definitely did not lose, you know, aura points for Dione Barbosa in this fight. She won this fight. Judges saw it wrong. Clear as day. Robbery. Next fight, we had Edson Barbosa taking on Jakar Klose, which was kind of a sleeper fight. Like, yeah, Jakar hurt Edson, you know, a few times throughout the fight, but it really wasn't that entertaining. The striking numbers will make you think it was like a slugfest, but it really wasn't. First round, close, you know, he was close in distance. Really clunky. He looked really clunky. Was throwing like a lot of spinning strikes, and Edson was completely on the other side of the octagon where Jakar Klose was still in the middle of his spin. He just looked a little, you know, awkward. There was a lot of cage control early in that first round too. A lot of foot stops from Jakar Klose. Edson was landing some, you know, bigger knees, and he was a little better from range. Jakar was still a little, you know, hesitant to figure out where Edson Barbosa was going to be or where he was. Second round though, Jakar Klose came out, you know, landed bigger shots, wobbled Edson a few times, but decided to clinch. You know, low IQ moment from Jakar Klose. A few low IQ moments from Jakar Klose throughout this fight. He would hurt Edson and then immediately clinch and hold him up against the cage. He could have knocked out Edson Barbosa easily, but he decided to, you know, close distance and hug on him. You know, completely turned me off from the fight. Yeah, he wobbled Edson a few times. Edson was able to tie up and mitigate damage because, like I said, Jakar Klose, that low IQ, man, it's not going to get him too much further in the UFC. Edson was able to break free, sling some big shots. Klose was winning, you know, the power shot battle, but again, just wasn't as accurate as Edson Barbosa. Third round is a little more of the same. Jakar Klose comes away with a unanimous decision, 29-28, where Edson won the third round. But again, this fight wasn't really that entertaining. Jakar was someone who is, you know, got less miles on the dash and is a lot more cleaner, like a Joao Alvarez. They're gonna clean Jakar Klose up. So I don't see Jakar, you know, getting. I mean, he could get another win. I don't want to say he's not gonna get another win in the UFC, but it's gonna be tough for him, man. Up at 155, he's probably what, top 40? Yeah, 33. Maybe they give him Rebecca. Well, nah, Rebecca was coming off that big, battle with Chris Duncan. So hmm, maybe a Michael Johnson. I could see Michael Johnson sleeping Jakar Close. You know what I'm saying? Nazim Sadikov was saying that he's supposed to fight um Renato. They give him Nazim. Nazim's gonna knock him out. Frivola, I think, could knock him out. Frivola probably a little faster. Ludwig Klein, maybe. I could see a Ludwig Klein fight. But yeah, not impressed with the win from Jakar Close. Again, it was a pretty lackluster fight. Um, yeah, moving on. C.Hooper gets slept by A.Hernandez. I didn't know C.Hooper was a striker. Out of nowhere, he just becomes a striker. Shooting takedowns from halfway across the octagon. It was one of those nights, man. Alexander Hernandez, he kept darting in and out, stayed at range or a range that he needed to be, and just clean C.Hooper's clock at the very last 2 seconds of the first round. C.Hooper was throwing a lot of long teeps down the middle. He was defending pretty intelligently. He was rolling his shoulder and taking the brunt of the shots on his shoulder or on his back. But he just got caught with a perfect counter by Alexander Hernandez, who did have the speed advantage. And, that was something that I did mention, but I didn't think C.Hooper would struggle getting him down to the mat like he did, man. He was reaching for takedowns, like looking like Mr. Fantastic reaching. It was bad. And he pays for it. Went in, I think he tried to throw it was either a jab or a two down the middle, and Alexander Hernandez just moves out the way and catches him with a clean hook, sits C.Hooper down, finishes him off with a little bit of ground and pound, and the buzzer goes off, and C.Hooper is out cold. So big win for Alexander Hernandez. He's 3 wins in a row. Beat C.Hooper, who was probably top 20. Where does that put Mr. Hernandez? I could see them giving him a big fight like a Manuel Torres, or Jared Gordon is fighting Rafa. Interesting. Joel went up to 70. Maybe Ignacio coming off the loss. Maybe. Nah, he's not getting none of these guys. Maybe a Benil. Maybe a Benil fight. Gamrot just beat Klein. Maybe they give Gamrot. Nah, that's too big of a jump for Hernandez. If he doesn't get a ranked opponent, he'll probably match up. Maybe they do a Nasrat fight. Maybe they give him the winner of Kawe and Perez. I can see that happening. Maybe Nazim. There's options for Alexander Hernandez. Good win for him here, stopping the prospect and C.Hooper. And it was, by a finish, so definitely a good look on his behalf. Next fight, we had Jessica Andrade taking on Lupi Godinez. Pick was solid, but the fight was it was a slugfest. Andrade was under pressure early, was getting countered though. Lupi had the speed advantage, whereas Andrade was just walking forward with her hands down, just slugging it out. She was unable to move her head off the line. Lupi was, the clear speed advantage. Andrade was loading up a lot, and Lupi was able to time the blitzes. I think she shot a takedown in the first round, might have been defended, but second round came out. Andrade turned up the pressure. Lupi, obliged a little bit, mixed in the wrestling, got a takedown early, threatened the arm triangle. Both of the ladies were mixing it up on the feet, big swings, big hooks, and I slightly edged Lupi round 2. Round 3, Andrade came to swing and bang, and she put it on Lupi for the third round. Looked like Lupi was turned into Poopy, but 29-28, Lupi Godinez walks away with a unanimous decision. I thought there was the right scorecards. I gave Jessica Andrade round 3, round 2, and round 1. She got she got pieced up in between her big moments, and the takedowns from Lupi were pretty pivotal. 1 for 14 on the takedowns. I just noticed that. Sheesh. Yeah, Jessica Andrade, her stock didn't go down in this loss, and I can see her still getting, another, maybe somebody right outside the rankings. I don't think it'll be a far a far, shot down for Jessica. Loopy is, I think she was number 11. Jessica, I can see them doing Jessica Angela Hill. Have they fought? I don't think they fought. Yeah, I don't think they fought. I can see them doing Jessica Angela Hill, and I might pick Jessica in that fight. Depends if Angela could wrestle her up. I don't know. Angela's got pretty good jabs. Could be an interesting fight though. Yeah, good win for Loopy Poopy. She does not poop her pants in the third round. Well, she kind of did, but Jessica Andrade, made it interesting. So shout out to her. Next fight, GM3. Damn, he's got 20 losses now versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Flatline KO for GM3, man. Yeah, Unk is washed. I think he needs to retire. Big win for Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Called out Marvin Vettori, but I really think that could work out bad for him. Marvin Vettori, he just got beat up by Brendan Allen, but Brendan Allen can mix it up pretty well. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, he's just primarily a boxer, and if you're just gonna fight, if you're just gonna box with Brendan Allen, not Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori, it could be a long night for you. I favor Marvin Vettori's slight power edge in that fight. I think Mikhail might be a little faster, but I don't know. Maybe Marvin's chin is a little questionable now. Brendan was rocking him with some big shots. I don't think he dropped him, but he definitely clipped him a few times within that fight. But they were fighting, that was a beef matchup and definitely had more than just a, ranking on the line. There was some, personal beefs going on within that fight and personal matters. Marvin had, just lost a family member recently. So it could have been, going through a lot of emotions for that fight. Taking on Mikhail, if they do schedule that, I could see Marvin Vettori being favored in that fight, probably like minus 160, somewhere around there. But it's a big call out for Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Training with the Fighting Urge, second camp, second win, both knockout finishes, and GM3, it's time to retire, bro. He was shooting takedowns in slow motion, was unable to move his head, was just taking punches and falling on his back. It's over with, brother. It's over with. GM3, please retire, because somebody else does that to him. I don't think it'll be as. I think it'll be much worse. So yeah, rough loss for GM3 here. Next fight up, we had Bisenger Sursakaev taking on Eric Nolan. This is a fight where Eric Nolan's stock rose in a loss, even though he got subbed up. First round, Eric Nolan was bringing the pressure. He clipped Sursakaev, had him, doing a chicken dance late in that first round. Dude was a little too cocky for my liking, but I will give him some slack, because you got to think about it. This dude fought 2 times, cut weight 2 times in 8 days. You know what I'm saying? Got a knockout win on the Contender Series. Turned around, said, "Yo, give me a fight for Chicago." 4 days, same card as his butt buddy, as Eric Nolan said, Hamzat Chimaev, and gets a second round submission. The way he set it up was nasty. He threw a huge leg kick that shut Eric Nolan's knee down. I think Nolan closed distance to shoot for a takedown or clinch up. Sursakaev reversed it, took him down, got on top, and finished it with the choke. Very impressive. This kid is definitely got potential. He's only like 24, 25. So at first I was like, a little too cocky, but he's got potential. And like I said, fighting twice in 8 days on this big of a card, and then just getting into the UFC too, he's got potential, man. And I'm not gonna hold this fight against him. He might be discounted in his next fight though, so we could put some eyes on him. I don't think Vegas will do that though. He'll probably be around minus 600 in his next fight. But yeah, he looked good. He looked good. I'll give him that. He looked good. Eric Nolan, though, he's definitely going to get another fight. It'll be at welterweight where he belongs, and he could be trouble for the welterweight division, especially, a lot of these unranked, unproven guys. I want to see who I would match him up with. Because you can't throw him into the deep waters yet. You know what I'm saying? Not a Carlos Leal fight. Ramirez just kind of no. Carlson Harris is still in the UFC. Maybe a Preston Parsons. Maybe I think Oban's got a fight. Maybe a Alex Morano fight could be on the verge for him. Damn, Gilbert dropped to 53. This is welterweight, right? Yeah, damn. Gilbert's still ranked. They got him 53. Um, damn, they cut Angelusa after that knockout. I forgot. Basil Fez is still there. Adam Fugit just got knocked out. Maybe Prado. You know what I'm saying? There's fights. There's definitely fights for Eric Nolan. So dude definitely didn't disappoint. He showed up, did what he could, and yeah, like I said, didn't disappoint at all. He's a tough dude. He was riding a 3-fight knockout streak, so he's gonna get in. I can see him getting wins in the UFC. He just ran into, a hell of a prospect, and this kid is clean. He's a natural middleweight, so. But yeah, Nolan, rocking him in that first round. It was showed signs of, some weaknesses. Maybe it was the weight cut, the back-to-back weight cut. We never know, but yeah, pretty good aura boost for both of these gentlemen. Moving on to the main card opener. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We had the lock of the week, Kai Asakura. Let me put a little bit more energy in it. We had the lock of the week, Kai Asakura taking on Tim Elliott, and Kai Asakura is unable to finish the 39-year-old Tim Elliott, who subs him in the second round. Oh man, Kai Asakura looked nasty to start the fight, bro. I think the live line was like -900. He was cleaning them up. The straight shots down the middle, the speed advantage looked evident. He was a little hesitant after he got taken down, and that's what led to the sub in the second round. This one just sucks, man. Me and Gavin, we thought we had one here, and Kai just, I don't know where he goes from here, bro. He's gonna have to fight like a debuter or like somebody. I don't know what the UFC is gonna do, because that was a pretty big signing for them, and for him to get mopped up twice in a row, subbed back to back twice in a row, it's like, come on, yo. Somebody tweeted like they think that UFC is signing all these big fighters from other promotions and just having them get smoked by UFC competition just to show, like who Big Bro is. But golly, bro. Kai Asakura, maybe a Ode Osborne fight. I wouldn't be mad at that. Maybe because Ode definitely deserves a big fight after taking on Steve Erceg on short notice. I was thinking Andre Lima. Um, but that wouldn't be favorable for Kai Kerr. But at this point, it's like you can't really, teeter around what he can and can't do, man. You just got to throw him in there. Losing to Tim Elliott is pretty bad. Not that Tim Elliott is bad, but it's just bad for him. You know what I'm saying? He was a pretty big signing. He was supposed to. He challenged for the title off his debut. Now, in hindsight, that was a little too much, but like, you can't mess around, man. You gotta make the adjustments when due. I don't know what the UFC is gonna do with him. I really don't know, because you have to have a multitude of skill sets to, make it in the UFC. You can't just rely on one thing. There are certain special guys, that can do it with the elite of the elites, like Alex Pereira, who we all know is a striker, but like his time came and he lost. You know what I'm saying? Some guys can do it for a little longer, but everybody has their time, man. So yeah, I don't know what the UFC is gonna do, bro. Japan versus Japan, I don't think so. This fight is kind of like a fight against another Japanese fighter is kind of like done now. You know what I'm saying? If he would have won, not a Tyra fight would have been set up, but like, I just don't know what you do with Kai Skura now, bro. This loss is kind of embarrassing. Um, yeah, I don't know. Who's Kevin Boros fighting? Where is Boras? Ronaldo just moved up to bantamweight. Matt Schnell, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe they give him Matt Schnell. I don't know. Boras is fighting Sumadarji next week. Oh yeah, that's right. I'll put that out later for next week's card, but let's get back to it, man. Yeah, very embarrassing loss here. I thought Asakura would get it done. I don't even want to talk about the fight anymore. Next fight, Jared Cannonier, MVP. Got a lot of flack on this pick, but as you guys can see, MVP was too fast, too elusive up until the third round. But yeah, too fast, too elusive. Knocked Jared Cannonier down twice throughout the fight. Style is just not meant for a guy like Jared Cannonier. Not that Jared Cannonier is bad or anything, but he was just too slow on the feet to compete with Michael Venom Page, bro. That darting in and out style, and he's able to, be elusive like he wants to. There's only a certain, type of fighter that can compete with him, and you're gonna have to be younger. You're gonna have to be faster. You're gonna have to have, an ability to clinch and take him down and do damage. I don't know what happened to Jared Cannonier, bro. He got that takedown in the third round, and he didn't really do anything with it. When I think of Jared Cannonier getting on top of you and landing some ground and pound, I'm thinking about this Derek Brunson finish. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. He finished Derek Brunson from top control. He got on top of Michael Venom Page and didn't do much, yo. It was like he was scared to throw, like he thought Michael Venom Page was gonna submit him or something like that. I don't know what was going on, but he had the takedown, he had the control, and didn't do much with it. He tried some submission attempts, but when you're down 2 rounds, clearly you just got clipped. Excuse me, I got some gas. You got clipped, you got dropped. You got to go for broke, bro. That's a similar issue with what I had with the main event, but we'll get there when we get there. If you got that control, you got to go for broke and just smash. And Jared Cannonier was unable to do that, so he loses. Decision to MVP 29-28. Pretty easy scorecards here. Next fight, one of the nastiest spinning back elbows in the UFC history, and let alone on his card. Carlos Prates taking on Jeff Neal. Yo, Jeff Neal said he was preparing for a 1-round fight, and that is exactly what he got. Carlos Prates was picking him apart all night long. He's this dude is heavy-handed. He's a sniper. He can tie up with you if he needs to. When he's in the pocket, he's still dangerous with, that big of a reach advantage. And then he just plants the perfect spinning back elbow with a second to go in the very first round and shuts Jeff Neal's lights off, bro. I thought Jeff Neal's skull was cracked. It sounded like, he broke his skull. That's how hard he hit him. And it didn't even look like the spin was that fast. It was just perfect placement. And Neal just crumbled to the mat. Called out Leon Edwards. Dana said he is going to be fighting at UFC Rio October 11th. That's right before my birthday. So, damn. CP is one of my favorite fighters. And I didn't mention this on the full card or on the breakdown, but Carlos Prates was my alt lock of the week. I was picking Carlos Prates by knockout, but I like the line on Asakura a little better. I'm kind of kicking myself for it, but me and Gavin gonna lock back in, and I'm sure we'll have another collab for you guys, and we'll make sure to do a little bit more homework on that one. But damn, Carlos Prates did it like I knew he would, and sensational knockout. Got whoever jumped off the Prates Fighting Nerds bandwagon. Don't jump back on it now, because I've been riding with Carlos for a while, man. Since I seen him make his Contender Series fight, I knew this guy was going to be scary. And shutting off Jeff Neal's lights was super impressive, because there was a lot of people telling me that, Jeff Neal, he could knock Carlos Prates out. He's live. He could go to a decision. Nah, bro, this dude is nasty. And we just saw it. Carlos Prates is the real deal. Cigarettes and all. So like I said, he called out Leon Edwards, but the issue with that is I think he's got a fight about to be scheduled with Michael Morales. So I don't know if Leon takes the fight with Prates. I think he's an idiot, honestly, because I think a fight with Morales would be better for his skill set. I think they're Morales is like a scarier Leon Edwards in my opinion. They both could do it all, but Morales can shut your lights off. At any time. Leon kind of just rocks you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? If he takes a fight with Carlos Prates, maybe it shows that I'm trying to get back, in the mix for a title. Da 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 da. But if he takes that fight, I think Leon's getting slept bad. Like I think Leon would definitely get slept bad. Um, so I don't think Leon's gonna take the fight, but I do think Bilal or maybe Buckley would. If Bilal takes the fight, we're gonna see Bilal get slept. I mean, he could mix in the wrestling, but I think Bilal gets clipped, bro. The way JDM was piecing him up, Pratos would probably put him out, like probably quicker than he put out Jeff Neal. Buckley fight could be interesting because of the movement of Buckley. You never know where he is. Could see him, clinching up, maybe taking him down. But he's gonna have to, you know. I think guys that can wrestle are really the only guys that give Buckley a lot of trouble. I know Kevin Holland knocked him out, but that was up at 185. I don't know. It could be interesting. A Buckley Prates fight would definitely be interesting. Co-main event. Prates already has the spot secured. It's just a matter of who the opponent is. If it's gonna be Leon, I expect Prates to get another knockout, and he'll probably be next in line for a title shot with a knockout over Leon. I know Kamaru's, talking about a title shot, but he's gonna have to get another fight. Sean Brady versus Shavkat, I'm pretty sure is about to get announced for like November, December time frame. So it's gonna get interesting up at the top, man. Welterweight used to be a dud of a division, and now it's hot. We got Islam, we got Prates, we got Morales, we got Brady, we got Shavkat, Ian Gary. 170 is, heating up, man. 170 is definitely heating up. Yeah, big win from Carlos Prates here. I'm very excited to see who his opponent will be because we're going to have to hear that pretty soon. We're already damn near in September. We're going to have to hear news about that fight pretty soon. So if it is going to be Leon, I got Prates by knockout again. Next fight, back-to-back spinning elbows. Leon Murphy taking on Aaron Pico. I picked Pico, bro, but I think we can all admit early Pico was looking like he was the man, ripping body shots to Murphy, had Murphy crumbling up, folding damn near in half, taking him down, controlled him for a little bit. Murphy was able to work back to his feet. They got back in the clinch. Pico disengaged, and he shoots for a takedown again, and Murphy sets it up, spinning back elbow, shuts Pico's lights off. Absolutely amazing finish from Leon Murphy, and give this man his title shot. He definitely deserves it now. John Silva, Diego Lopez are definitely gonna have to wait. Movzar, him and Armand, bro, it's over with. You're not getting a title shot. You're gonna have to fight like Armand and Movzar are about to get the Gamrot treatment. I'm telling you, signature win for Leon Murphy. He's definitely getting the next title shot. Let's go through 145 to see how this is gonna play out. Yair talking about a title shot? Nah, it's over with. Yair's probably gonna get the winner of, or I could see Yair Mozart. Honestly, that could be like a fight night main event. But winner of that still not getting a title shot. I'm telling you that now. They're gonna have to fight another fight because Mozart pulling out, Yair not wanting to fight Diego when they already had beef. It's corny, bro. It's corny. Fight the guys that are in front of you because you're gonna get opportunities like Leon Murphy got, and you can make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? And now Murphy leapfrogged everybody. I know he was number 6 in the division, just leapfrogged all of y'all because y'all just don't want to fight. So Murphy versus Volk. I could see Volk getting clipped. I could see Volk also having success in the wrestling. So it's gonna be an interesting fight. But yeah, Diego versus Gene. Interesting. They'll probably be next after Murphy fights. And whoever wins out of Murphy Volk, it could be, dangerous for either one of them. I know Diego lost to Volk, but there's some corrections that he can make, and he can definitely finish Volkanovski. He almost did the first time. So I think for Pico, I think he gets the loser of Aljo versus Brian Ortega. He didn't look bad in his debut. He got clipped. He got clipped, and it was a miracle from the miracle. Honestly, not like Leon isn't capable of doing that, but he just got caught by the perfect shot. He was doing all the things right. He was smothering Lerone, but Lerone knew he would use his aggression against him, and he did it, man. He shut Aaron Pico's lights off. Now PFL Bellator has gone what 0-5, 0-4 this year alone. I think with the debuting guys, Patchy, Pitbull, Pico, and then I think there's one more. I can't think of it, but I think Pico definitely looks the best out of all of them. He's still got promise. I know he got clicked and shut off, but I think Pico still has a pretty high ceiling. Maybe not, UFC champion, but he could definitely be one of the guys in the top 10. I think, if he gets the loser of Aljo Ortega, I think Arnold Allen is having surgery, so maybe their timelines can match up. That'll be a hell of a fight night main event, or even, a featured fight. There's options for Aaron Pico. I don't think he's trash, man. He'll probably get either, I think you could give him another fight in the rankings. He didn't look bad. He had Murphy hurt, momentarily in that fight. Murphy is just the miracle, man. And he's getting his title shot just like he, been calling for. Perfect elbow, perfect finish, perfect setup for a title shot. Main event of the evening. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Absolutely dog walk domination from Khamzat Chimaev in 510 strikes, bro. That's more than some people in their career. Like, that is insane. He just bulldogs Plessis. Plessis did not look like he knew how to defend takedowns, but I can't even say that because Khamzat is just insane, bro. Like, I don't see anybody beating him at 185. Now that we see he can go 25 minutes, I think the only one that could be competitive would probably be Fluffy, but I'm still thinking, like, how does Fluffy look when I don't know. I don't think so. Brendan Allen had him in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Michel Pieta had him in a little bit of trouble early. I don't know. I really don't know. Kyle versus Imavov, I think whoever wins that, they're probably gonna get steamrolled. Um, I can't think of who could beat Khamzat, bro. This Khamzat, that version of Khamzat looked crazy. But I will say though, what are you saying on the mic after, shouting out everybody who, thank you. The second, post fight interview. Oh snap! The second post fight interview that he had, it kind of tells me that he really just needed the money. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even hold the belt when they gave it to him. Maybe people's motivations are different, but sounds like that the pockets might be a little tapped. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, getting back to middleweight, I don't know, bro. I really do not know what you do for the next title challenger. It's probably gonna be Imavov, Ohio winner, but I think they get ran through. Fluffy, I think can be competitive, but I think Khamzat still finishes him probably inside of 3, inside of 2. Reina the Ritter, I could see Khamzat knocking him out first round. That chin is just a little too flappy for me. So I know he's a nasty grappler, but we just saw that none of that shit matters. DDP suffers his first loss in the UFC. Where does he go? I think now you can make DDP RDR. You could do DDP RDR. DDP, no, you don't. Brendan Allen doesn't deserve that. Yeah, DDP RDR sounds right to me. Izzy, I think Izzy's gonna end up fighting MVP, and I really don't want to see that fight. Or MVP versus Strickland. up at 85. MVP was also talking about dropping down to 170 and fighting Prates in October. I don't want to see that fight. I'm not a fan of MVP. He's good. I'm just not a fan, and I don't want to see him fight Prates because it kind of like skews with the divisions. You know what I'm saying? He's ranked at middleweight. Why drop down to 170? I know it's his natural, his natural weight class, but it's just gonna mess everything up. You know what I'm saying? Because if he beats Prates, then what? You're gonna fight. You're gonna be a damn near number one contender in two different divisions. I mean, it's cool and all, but I think that just messes with things. You know what I'm saying? So I can see MVP end up getting booked against Izzy or Strickland. MVP wants to bounce back though, so who knows, man. But yeah, I think you do DDP RDR because these guys are gonna be next. Fluffy, I feel as though is in front of RDR as far as the title challenger rankings go. But I don't think anybody's gonna be jumping at the bit to fight Hamza because this dude looks insane, bro. 25 minutes of pure domination. How he did DDP, it was just nasty. 510 to 56. Now, fifth round DDP. Well, no, what was it? Round 3 or round 4? Mark Goddard standing him up. That was a bad stand up, bro. I think it was round 4. That was a terrible stand up from Mark Goddard. Hamza had him completely controlled, and Mark Goddard decides to break them up and stand them up. It really looked like the fixing was in. And I picked DDP in this fight. I'll be honest, but yeah, that was a bad stand up. Then round 5, that was also a terrible stand up. Hamza was working. Yeah, it wasn't entertaining, but you can't stand them up when they're in that type of position. Now, DDP jumping Gilly, that absolutely broke my heart, man. Because if you are on top of this guy, you have to just smash. Don't go for submission. Position over submission every single time. Round 5, he has the position, and he was unable to do much with it. He landed like 2 or 3 elbows, but the dude was gassed, bro. You could see it. At the end of round 3, we saw a different look on Dricus du Plessis, and he definitely did not have an answer for the wrestling. Knees were all ripped and shredded apart from getting dragged and manhandled all night long. It was just an absolute whooping from Hamza Chimaev. 21 minutes of control time. Had him in a crucifix like 5, 6, 7, 8 different times. It was just terrible for du Plessis. I don't know who could beat Hamza Chimaev. I thought DDP could get like a late knockout, and he did show a few moments where the striking was working, but Hamza, with that new conditioning, he's a different beast, bro. And I don't think we're ever going to see him at minus 275. He's probably going to be like upwards of minus 400 for the next few title fights that he's going to end up having. And hopefully, he's more active fighting, because if he fights once a year, it can make things bad for 185. So hopefully we get, at least 2 fights a year from Hamza Chimaev. Hopefully. His next fight has to be no later than March. You know what I'm saying? So good win for Hamzat. Bad loss for du Plessis, but there's not, much anybody else could have done. You know what I'm saying? So let's go through the picks. So we lost with Hamzat. Well, let's start from the first fight of the night. So early prelims, 0-1, 0-2 with a robbery. I'm taking that because Downey won. So 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 5-3. Oh no, I'm sorry. 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 6-5, 6-6. Really, 5-7, but yeah, rough night at the office for me, man. Kind of disgusted in the picks. I'm not discussing it in the picks. I'm more disgusted in the outcomes, but I like some of the picks, man. I thought Pico looked good. DDP got steamrolled, so that, it is what it is. The Asakura pick, I'm absolutely disgusted in the result. The Barbosa pick, I'm super happy with. just, fell on the other side. I wasn't really, confident in Barbosa, and clearly see that why. C.Hooper getting knocked out was not on my bingo card. Idris losing his Ultimate Fighter, I don't really count that. But yeah, the Silva, Kai, and Pico, or Barbosa, Kai, and Pico, I'm not too upset with. Pico got caught. Kai, well, I am upset with Kai, but back to the drawing board, man. Lock of the week. 0-2 in the past 2 weeks. We need a big win, and we got UFC Shanghai next week. I'll put out what I'm gonna do for that card on Monday. Let's get to the parlays, which we didn't hit any. MVP decision. Hooper loses. Edson loses. Plus 355. Over 2.5 hit. Over 1.5 did not hit. And Pico obviously got starched. Sursakaev did not win in round 1. Pico lost. Kai got subbed. Over 2.5 hit. Hooper did not get the sub. Prates gets the KO. Kai loses. Prates wins. Hooper gets clipped. Dione gets robbed. Over 2.5 does hit. DDP gets steamrolled. GM3 gets knocked the hell out and probably sent to retirement. DDP gets steamrolled. Prates KO. And Kai gets choked out. Plus 1586. Bad day for the pockets. Bad day at the office. It is what it is. We live, we learn. We come back stronger. UFC 319 full card recap. Let me know what you guys think. Do you believe in Hamza Chimaev as the middleweight champion? Do you think he will be good for the middleweight division? I don't know. I'm a little tossed on it. I don't know who beats him though, so maybe he doesn't need to fight twice a year, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of guys wanting to fight him. So I'm interested to see what you guys said. Let me know what you thought of the picks. Not really too good for me. It is what it is, but I will bounce back. There aren't many weeks like this. This is probably like my second time having a really bad record. So you live, you learn, take the good with the bad, and we will bounce back. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I will catch you for the next card. Peace out.